toward the cliff, as I've said, at 70 miles an hour right now, and Hillary escalates that to 90 miles per hour, and Trump escalates it to 75 miles per hour, but in the process rips out the reverse gear, then it doesn't really matter very much. I mean, we're going to hit the cliff.
So even with the list that he's provided right now, and everything that you just kind of mentioned as your concerns, you still wouldn't, you don't think it's enough at all to go, okay, well, when the reality of Hillary Clinton sets in to pull the lever for Trump?
Well, so here's sort of my feeling. I totally understand. I really do. There are people like Dennis Prager, who I respect, who says, you know, he's horrible, I have to vote for him anyway. Bobby Jindal makes this argument. He's horrible, I have to vote for him anyway.
Yeah, I think both are tenable positions, and I've said that.
I totally agree. Totally agree. This is a tenable position. You know, I think that the stop Hillary argument, it's not, in my view, the strongest argument, but it is a viable argument. The reason that I don't believe it is because I don't believe Donald Trump. I think Donald Trump is an authoritarian. I think his lies about what he would do at the Supreme Court are just that. I wrote a piece for National Review last week where I said, here's what Trump needs to do. And it was really two elements. One is sign yourself onto conservatism. And two was prove to me that you're credible. And he's making some moves in that direction in the signing on to conservatism realm, although obviously this is the same Donald Trump who said 2 days ago that he is averse to North Carolina's transgender bathroom law, right? That he thinks everybody basically should be able to go to the bathroom where they want, and he's not against the government taking a role in that. But let's assume he moves conservative, although I would find that weird. I don't think he's really going to do that in any heavy way. I think this is a stop on an issue he doesn't really care about.
Okay, well, before we go to the break, because I want to stay on that, and then we'll move on after. What would he have to do to prove it? Like, what's your barometer for you to say, okay, maybe he's conservative?
This consistently for the next 6 months, right?
The Supreme Court thing continuing on this trail for 6 months.
Yes, and he has to keep saying the same thing over and over, and he can't flip, and he can't change his position every 5 seconds. I don't think that's too much to ask, because that's pretty much what I've asked of every candidate, except most candidates don't flip as often.
So then you're not never Trump. You're never Trump as is, but you remain open to the possibility. If you've set these are the standards, and if he proves himself.
Correct. I can only evaluate Trump on the evidence that I've been presented. If the evidence changes, my opinion may change.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's why I've said that I can't go in for a hashtag, because there are people who don't have that train of thought, where it's even destroy the system because of the Trump thing. So no, I think you're right on the money. Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire, listen to his podcast, and we will bring him back after the break. Yeah, we have to go to a break. Oh my gosh, this show's going by so quickly. Louder with Kreider. Stay tuned, or don't.
Chicago PD.
Hey, Thomas Manning calling. Hope all is well.
Thomas Manning. Why do I know that name?
Well, it's a pretty common name.
Oh, you're the guy with the cack.
That's me. Listen, I was wondering if you had anyone come through there. I know Chicago's had a pretty rough year for violence.
Yeah, it's been terrible. It's such a tragedy.
I know, it's awful. I was wondering if you had anyone come through there who were organ donors.
Who were what?
Organ donors. You know, particularly I know with the rise in gang violence. I don't know if you've seen anything like that recently. An organ donor from some kind of a shootout, perhaps a rival turf controversy gone wrong.
I'm not sure I follow.
Yeah, you know, listen, it doesn't have to come from any specific gang at all. I just mean if there's an organ donor who may have come in, could be, you know, Bloods, Crips, NAACP, Youth Intramural Basketball Team.
Did you just say the Youth Intramural Basketball Team?
Yeah, you know, but I'm just throwing out just general ideas.
I'm afraid the only body we've gotten here is from a Mr. Santelli of the Santelli crime family.
Crime family? Really? Those are still around?
Yeah, the mob's been really bad for us in Chicago.
Hey, what are they known for?
You know, trafficking and narcotics, prostitution, but their main specialty here has always been assassination. They have a big racket.
Assassination? You mean like...
Yeah, hitmen, full bore.
And are any of the rest of them still around?
Yeah, we can't charge their ass. We try to get this one guy on tax evasion, but you can find him down the neighborhood on the south side. It's not too far.
Santelli family on the south side. Thank you very much, officer.
Well, can I help you with it?
You're a strange animal, I got to follow. Oh, I'm in the speedy to...
Glad to be back. DailyWire.com, The Ben Shapiro Show, at Ben Shapiro on Twitter. Glad for him to be back with us. Okay, so I wanted to move on from the Trump thing because we can talk about this till we're blue in the face. But I'm glad that you said...
Or orange.
Or stop it. I don't like the horrible jokes that are going on today. But I'm glad that you said, because that's me too. I've said, well, listen, I have to lay out standards and I have to be consistent. And if these are met, I can't just say never Trump, trot out Mitt Romney. And that's where the anytime you get into a hashtag and you create joiners, whether it's Trump 2016 or I'm immediately uncomfortable. So I very rarely go in for any of those. But I think you're right. I think that's a pretty reasonable barometer.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I've said never Trump is because I feel like we should at least set a standard. I had an hour-long debate with Prager on this particular subject, and what I said to him is there has to be somebody on the right who you feel would be a better president than Hillary Clinton, but you wouldn't vote for just because you think they're a bad person or a person who is a threat to the things you believe in. And he acknowledged as much. I said, well, Trump has crossed that line for me. If he steps back across that line, then we can talk about whether, I would vote for him. Mm-hmm. I would if he steps back across that line. But it's a long haul for him. He doesn't seem like the kind of, as he said, he doesn't like to repent. He doesn't like to repent mistakes. So the idea of Donald Trump doing an about face seems a little far-fetched to me.
It seems a little far-fetched. I'm always in the Supreme Court list. I was going, okay, that's a step in the right direction this week. So I have to try and be fair. Because even long before, a lot of these other hosts who are out there, we've made fun of Trump before he even announced his candidacy on this program just because for comedy, we just always thought it was funny.